Alright, some shake jumped. Ah, messed up. Alright, into the brass tacks. America and the UK are very hard on themselves. Very hard on themselves. Because they all are in political competition to be in charge. And very hard on themselves. There's a lot of standards you have to meet, there's a lot of criteria. Boris Johnson got sacked for having a beer. Go on, Boris. That would have bought you 12, man. Eyeballs popping out your head, working 24/7. Coronavirus to the left of me, Ukraine war to the right. I would have get that man a cold beer, roll those sleeves up for him. Anyway, but they're very hard on themselves. You know who aren't hard on themselves? Independent countries like Ireland and Ukraine. And this is just my weird thing that European politicians are pushing Europe now. It's like, well, there's no reason to think that Putin won't extend beyond Ukraine. That's madness. Like, that's absolute madness to think that Putin will extend beyond Ukraine. You probably have interests in Estonia and Lithuania and Finland and things like this at these times. And Georgia, like, stayed true to what he's. I don't think he's ever going to plan a war or advance into Europe. The European politicians liked Ukraine, is what I'm realised. Slavaland. This is the thing about independent countries. They're not hard on themselves. It's like, fuck, we have an opportunity here to just run the whole show. And we can get away with anything. And you get this very corrupt country, independent countries. And they're going to be lobbied by lots of rich people. American people, maybe European people. And they're going to make so much greasy elbow work you have no idea in these independent countries. Because the independent countries aren't hard on themselves. They're all on one team. See the way there's like the opposition in the UK. And then there's always this mega opposition of two main parties in America. And they kind of keep it. I was angry about this because if your governments are self-defecting when they're challenging each other, they're caring more about the political competition than actually taking care of the government or the country, running the country. They just want it. So I thought it was a bit self-defective. But at the same time, the opposition are supposed to keep you on your toes to make sure everybody, like Donald Trump, must have really played by the book, to survive. And even in his survival, paid off loads of people and even got in trouble for paying off people to survive. You know, he had a beer during coronavirus. You know what I mean? He just paid them off, kind of thing. That's what you need to kind of do to survive. I get a really funny video on Donald Trump's phone book. And it was like this thick, his phone book. And it's like, I need to gift all of these people all of the time. I need to keep all these mofos sweet. There's so many people I need to get sweet. You know how many people I kind of pay off? I'm paying for their confidence. I'm paying for their friendship. I'm paying, everybody. It's probably a very hard pyramid to climb. But anyway, that's what I'm saying about what's going on in Ukraine. It's very like Ireland. It's an independent country that's being lobbied. And they give lots away. And it's like, oh yeah, come to our country. We'll let you get away with blue murder, man. We'll let you get away with all types of diplomatic immunities. Sadly, these diplomatic immunities are like killing Irish kids in my situation and getting away with it, kind of. And in Ukraine, there was a lot of gifted Slava land. Lots and lots of Slava land. And if you own these like 12 acres in Ukraine, your family are going to be very wealthy and you're just throwing it all away. So a lot of European politicians have a lot of vested interests in Ukraine. So Putin's taking it. He's actually not taking Ukraine, robbing Ukraine or Ukrainian people. He's taking stuff from European politicians and maybe Americans, but mainly European politicians. He's taking their stuff, and that's why they're so interested. That's why they're so invested in helping Ukraine and saving Ukraine. If it wasn't a great country like Finland and they were fighting through Finland, they probably wouldn't care. Like, just not probably, unless there's lots of natural resources in Finland. But Ukraine is the flag is golden skies and golden land, like these perfect fields that make all of the Kellogg's and all of the fucking soya beans and stuff. And there's a lot of, and that's why the Russian soldiers weren't happy that they let Ukraine keep selling grain, because it's, it was nice of Russia to let them keep selling grain. That wasn't their objective, to starve the world by choking off Ukraine. Russia have been very fair. Were very fair. I was thinking Russia could be nuked. I reckon they could easily, with all the internet and services, they could nuke Moscow and just let the show carry on AI news and AI internet, AI this tactical nuclear war. Tactical. What is a tactical nuke? Like a tiny little nuke that has a bubble around it. And it's like tactic is probably nuking somebody and using the internet tactically to make it look like they're still alive and they're still rolling. And you actually just wipe them off the face of the earth, and you still have all these AI presidents just pretending like, oh yeah, tactical nuclears. Yeah, what was I gonna say? See, this is some weird problem I was saying about independent countries, and it lied to Ireland. And they want all these people coming over, investors. And Trump even says, "Oh, you managed to get a lot of people coming into your country and investing." And they kind of massage and grease their balls so badly. And not even that. I just realized, but I just start contemplating things like taxes and things in life. Tax strike, that's a scary word that no government wants to ever hear, and that's why I reckon they don't like unions. But I was like, tax strike is a cool thing. Power to the people. Yeah, we'll just all stop paying taxes until you get your shit together, government. Now, if I don't like the government, well, just everybody stop paying taxes at the same time. Yeah, we're going on tax strike, and the government will probably turn it around then and make things really crappy. But sarcastically, yeah. So what was I saying? Ireland lobbied, giving it away, giving everything away, letting you do whatever you want for free. Come here, take us, rape us. Gentrification is the word. But anyway, I think I've already said this in the interview. Gentrification. I'm either all in or like nothing on gentrification. So I'm welcoming England. You know what I mean? Like the Irish don't want to be ruled by the British ever again. They're okay to be run by Florida. So I was like, yeah, bring the American Republican airtightness, that standard of American Republican airtightness over to Ireland, where they have to be the best fucking politicians in the world. Nobody in the Irish government, maybe a few, they're barely qualified or have like a degree in politics or like a degree in anything. You know, Sinn Féin and Mary Lou MacDonald was like the TD for Dublin, and probably doesn't even have a junior cert or equivalent. Equivalent because she's a foreigner. She's from a different country. It really ought to be on the ballot paper. Sinn Féin, foreign party. They're running all these protests against foreigners. Why don't you go home? Yeah. The fear of democracy is popularism. Where like even that guy Hutch, he's kind of supposed to be a gangster or something, or has a gangster name. And everybody's suddenly warning about the dangers of popularism. And Sinn Féin are just popularists from a different country as well, completely uneducated. Absolutely. And the only education they really have is like when they do a tour of Mountjoy or something and they go get like the Irish history book and try and sit down and pretend to be reading it to look really cool and raw in front of their fucking colleagues. Yeah, I was actually sick in school for Irish history. Sorry, I'm going off the topic here, but I have no memory. I really want to go on Room 101 one day. I'm looking into the future and I'll get to hang out with all the cool people finally, and I might be able to go on these awesome BBC shows that I always liked, and might get to go on Room 101. I was thinking, what would I put on Room 101? I might spoil it because I might not ever get there. He's not Jasper Carrott, the comedian. He looks like Jasper Carrott, and I always thought he was Jasper Carrott, but he's not as cool as Jasper Carrott, but he's kind of, I can't remember anybody's names that does Room 101. Room 101 is things you get to pick 2 or 3 things and debate why they ought to be erased forever, put away forever, in a room where you hide things and nobody ever really knows it. So you get to pick some funny things like whatever you don't like. I'm putting Irish history in Room 101. And I'm going to use like a Michael Collins DVD to symbolize Irish history. It's going to be fucking hilarious. Like, I have the whole skit worked out. Because no, I can say this, don't worry, I can say this. It's like all this nostalgia and all this silly romanticism about running around with guns and blowing up Like, the people that died didn't want that. And there's so much romanticism, and it's just, yeah, I think, it's better when we all just, And the funny thing is, like, 100 years ago, like, people were like, it'll never stop. We'll never forget till we're all dead and buried. And it was 100 years ago, so they are all dead and buried. So I don't see a reason to maintain these things. And if people are maintaining these things, I reckon we speed up the process of, till they're dead and buried. And Romeo and Juliet, like a little southern boy and a northern girl are gonna fall in love, and it'll all just return to the river that it splashed up in the first place. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there's supposed to be some ramble about Ukraine, independent countries being lobbied, and yet Putin won't attack Europe. Europe just want to make Europe. They want to make you for it. They want to frighten you, right? Young males that are going to be sent to fucking conscription and war to save their Slava land in Ukraine, and that's why they're so enthused. Trump was very honest about it. He's not like, I like that about actually what Trump did. He's like, I want your minerals. I'm going to get brass tacks. I want the metals and the minerals. And everybody else in Europe is like, no, we just care for. But if you look up the vested interests of European politicians in the property of Ukraine, you'll probably see why they're so motivated, or apparently so motivated, to send you to war to defend their Kellogg's contracts. I just want to play some guitar. Love yous.